very important. Otherwise, something very bad might happen. Turn up the volume. This is an emergency. The volume must be increased. Turn up the volume to full or higher if you can. Up the volume. Up, up, up. Turn up the volume.
Alan Parker, Urban Warrior, with 29 minutes of truth. Sorry, but he kept chaining himself to the railings until we agreed to let him in. 1FM takes no responsibility for the thoughts of Alan Parker.
1FM! Neither does Alan Parker. I'm not taking no responsibility. Because you know how it is, yeah? You know how it is. Well, it's not like that, it's worse. Yeah, cheers. What have we got? Nothing. What do we want? Nothing. When are we going to get it? We're not. Think about it. You know it makes sense. Don't let them trample you into the ground. Trample yourselves into the ground. Then blame them. That's the way forward. Come on, ask yourselves a question. The Birmingham Six are free. When will the rest of Birmingham be free? Think about it. It's good, that, isn't it? I'm Alan Parker, Urban Warrior. I am probably the most left-wing person in this country. I am. To give you an idea, right, of how left-wing I am, OK? Think of the most left-wing thing you can. Fix it in your minds, right, yeah? Now double it. That's how left-wing I am. Probably you can hear in the background my mate Hammond. He's stacking things up. Say hello, Hammond. Hello. Yeah, that'll do. Right, just get on with it. What we're doing, you see, we're barricading ourselves into the studio. Now, admittedly, OK, they've given us a slot here, but, you know, old habits. Anyway, what I'm doing, playing beginnings of records at the beginning of the programme. That's Babylon's Burning and Bitbox Stereos and now the Levellers. And then maybe middles in the middle and then ends of the records at the end, you know, just in case.
Truth, not lies. 1FM!
1FM. FM, that stands for frequency modulation, not fascist machine, as I originally thought, so I'm a lot happy about that now. Right, where are we? Nowhere, of course. Anyway, back to the issues. I have come here today to put to you a simple question. How are we going to attack the status quo? Well, one way, of course, is to attack status quo. Look my hair! Oh, just let it work. Don't pull my hair! Oh, you beast! Obviously, that is just a dramatic reconstruction, but you get the idea.
Alan Parker, out on the streets.
I think the answer is revolution. Well, yeah, I think the answer is revolution.
Revolution?
I don't know, is the answer spinning? 10 letters. Turning round.
So why don't you join the revolution? You know, what's the problem?
I think the downside of a civil war is the fact that I personally might get hurt or killed.
Everyone would stay at home.
Transport mainly, I think. Sort of trying to avoid the rush hour as much as possible would be the main problem.
I think that rats would come right up from the tube and they'd start running around the streets, and then the hospitals simply couldn't cope.
Well, I wouldn't have as much time for sort of my social life, my family, hobbies, sort of that kind of thing.
Truth, not lies.
1FM!
Hammond, get the chair, stick the chair against the door, ram it in, like wedge it.
What if we have to go to the toilet?
Hammond, going to the toilet is not going to achieve any realistic change in this country, is it? Not anymore.
I need to go.
Well, go in the corner. Go on, what's your problem?
You know, people are listening.
All right, I'll stick a record on then. This record goes out to all the students in the world. Students, I'm on your side. People say to me, Alan, how can you be on the side of students and not an oppressed minority? OK, they're not oppressed, but they are depressed, a lot of them.
I was happy in the haze of a drunken hour, but heaven knows I'm miserable now. I was looking for a job and then I found a job, and heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Actually, I was a student myself once. Didn't mean to be. It was an accident. I was forced into it by the combined effects of society's pressures and my extremely high A-level results. So, on your side, students. OK, what's next on the agenda for change, then? During the next 29 minutes of truth, I'm going to be bashing down prejudices, confronting taboos, looking at the way the dog-eat-dog nature of the capitalist system turns everyone into little bits of rubbish, and there's a competition as well. Now, let's take a look at the charts.
The charts are an elitist device designed to suppress the really good music that no one listens to just because it's unpopular.
That's the charts looked at for you. Hammond, you alright?
I think I've made a mess on some albums.
What, vinyl or CD?
CD.
Well done, mate, on your side. Should have gone in earlier and we're in the canteen anyway. It's good up there. There's Gary Davis, Jackie Bramble, Simon Mayo, all sitting around talking, and I was trying to persuade them to be more left-wing and subversive. And they were trying to persuade me to sit at another table.
1FM! Testimonies of the unheard.
Time for the testimonies of the unheard. The stories of the little people that don't get a look in normally. Who are the most unheard people in Britain? And I realised it's my mates. No one listens to them, not even me. So here we go. Here's Barry.
Well, if people saw the world the way it really is, right, they'd get angry. But they drove around in their cars saying, you know, I've got a blue car, he's got a red car, I must be living in a free society. So what I did one night was to paint all the cars in my street a totalitarian grey colour. And when the people came out the next morning and saw things as they really were, I'll tell you, they got angry.
Barry there, speaking from Middlesex Hospital, where he is described as comfortable.
Alan Parker says, treble respect to you.
The news from the perspective of Alan P.
Recognise that music? It's the ITN News at 10 music, yeah? I've nicked it. Saw the tape behind me out. Woomph. Right, now. Remember that? Now listen to this. Yeah, Steve Austin, $6 Million Man, a half robot. What's going on there, eh? Very similar theme tune, made by the same people. It all makes sense. They are trying to turn us into machines. And that Alistair Burnett, he looks at us with that funny look, that piercing eye. I tell you, it is a piercing eye. It's bionic. And the clue was there all along, wasn't it? Wasn't it all along? Theme tune. Take the E off theme, and what do you get? Them. Think about it. OK, let's have a look at the news then. The Queen has agreed to start paying tax. What I want to know is why was she not paying tax before? Was she protesting against something, in which case on her side? Anyway, why don't we create our own royal families? What about Bernard Golson as king? You don't know him, unless you go to the Suffolk Punch on Green Lanes, then you'll probably know him. He's the most royal bloke I've ever met. Like, for example, he only ever drinks halves, and when he's in the toilet, he always washes his hands afterwards, even if it's only a piss. Let's have him as king. And we wouldn't need to give him any civil list money either, because he's a trained hairdresser. Madonna, the Madonna issue. Society says to women, keep your breasts covered up. Madonna says, no, I break that rule. I expose my breasts to the open wind. And I, for one, support her in that stand. And I say to women generally, don't obey their rules. Get your breasts out, even though saying that has led me into trouble on some occasions in the past. Well, I don't know much about it, but it seems to me just from the health perspective, keeping them all wrapped up and that all the time, there must be some danger of them going septic or curdling. My greatest disappointment of the last few years was the assassination of Phil Collins. It didn't happen. It should have happened. Look at the facts. 30 million people have albums by Phil Collins. 30 million people voted for Adolf Hitler. You draw your own conclusions. I have. There are weapons we can use against him. Home taping is killing music, so they say. But why don't we use it to kill the bits of music we don't like? So what you do is you get a Phil Collins album and you tape it, make hundreds of copies, and then give one to every person you pass in the street. And that way, Phil Collins wouldn't be able to sell a single album and he'd have to shoot himself. I don't know, to think I used to admire him. I used to admire him for having succeeded in the music industry despite being vocally challenged, i.e. having a speech impediment. Yeah, but it just turns out all through that song he is faking it. Because you see him interview and he's got no trouble at all saying his S's. He just says them quite normally. Yeah. Genesis, genocide.
Testimonies of the unheard.
Well, I was in the park and I saw this couple walking along and they had a little girl and she had a dog. Anyway, the little girl was hitting at the dog and suddenly the woman turns around and she says, you hit that dog once more, Tracy, and I'll hit you. But then the man says, you hit Tracy and I'll give you a smack. And then the dog bit him. And I thought, yeah.
Real life spelt out in block capitals by my friend Stuart there. Kicking it. Ham, what's going on? Who's that there through the glass?
Simon Bates.
Batesy! Hey, Batesy! You alright? I like that our tune bit you do. I like that our tune, not their tune. Great. Don't let him in, will you? OK, I've been out campaigning. I've been down the DHSS, or as I should say, of course, the DSS. They've changed the name. They've dropped the H. What I want to know is how long before they drop the D. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. How long before they come clean and admit what they really are, the SS, Staff Elite Guard. Now, I've been down there before, and my case supervisor had been going to me, "Oi, Alan, what can you do?" So I said to her, "I can speak the truth, that's all any of us can do." And she said to me, "No, Alan, some of us can type as well." I said to her, "You can type, can you? Typing is fascism by another name." That got her. Anyway, this time I went down there, right? But I went down there with accusations.
Now, Mr. Parker, you've been claiming unemployment benefit for 13 weeks now, so...
Hey, you object to that all of a sudden?
No, not at all, but we have to fill this in. OK, so can I take your full address?
24 Aylesbury House.
Postcode?
I don't use codes. Not like the government.
Right.
Not like you, government agent.
And, do you have your national insurance number with you, Mr. Parker?
Another code, another number. No, I don't.
Right, OK.
What I do have with me are some accusations.
Really?
Didn't expect that, did you? Thought,
No.
get him in here, get him a job. But what you didn't realise, I have accusations. Here I have the names and addresses of 14 old age pensioners in this area who have had their pensions cut off.
Right,
All of
well,
a
you
sudden.
see, I'm not really
1 week of
qualified.
pension, next week, nothing. I've been round to some of those old people, 2 of those addresses. And do you know what happened?
No.
They had died.
Right.
Dead
You see, I'm not really
old
very
people in this
qualified
area.
to deal with any
You cut
queries
their
about
pensions
anything
off.
other than
They died.
restart
You are
interviews.
responsible.
Can I ask
what
you...
about the old people?
Yes, well,
the
could
whole
you sit
world
down,
is
please?
watching.
What,
Names and addresses.
Could you tell me what sort of talents you think you have?
I can speak the truth, that's all any of us can do.
Right. Anything any more specific than that?
Fighting the government, all right? Find me a job like that. Fighting the government, if you can. Find out about those old people. Come on.
Oh,
Explain
well, look,
it.
maybe I could sort of tap 1 or 2 of them up on the computers. These are the names and addresses, yes? Right, OK, well, look, well, I can clear this up. I mean, the reason why their benefit was stopped was because they had actually died already. I mean, they died and then their benefit was stopped. Do you see? So, I mean...
Yeah. The old chicken and egg argument, isn't it? Yeah. Which came first? They died, the pension stopped, they died. It's all a tricky one, isn't it? It's a bit of a chicken and egg argument. I know where you're coming from. You're trying to blur over the facts with your words.
No, in fact, Mr. Parker, in this case, it is definitely the chicken. The old age pensioners died, therefore their pensions were cut off.
Yeah.
Right, can we get on with filling in this...
Lies is all you get there. Bloody lies.
Alan P. Shouting things louder if you don't listen to him.
Have you got a job? I say to you, have you got a job?
Well, yeah, I got a job. Yeah,
OK, well, if you've got a job, do it well. And when Friday comes, take your pay packet with pride. Then give it back. Let them know you don't need their money. That's right. The laughter of understanding. Good to hear. I've got a joke for you. OK, here it is. What do you get? Nothing. Blame the government. Cheers. Ta. Well, Hammond, what about a bit of respect for that?
Respect given.
Respect received, thanks. And given back again. I don't know. Respect reflected.
Respect absorbed.
On the other hand, you know, you've got to ask yourselves the question, what are jokes going to achieve? Nothing. It's all very well, isn't it, telling your jokes, but while you're telling them, who's that come creeping through the back door? Yeah, that's right, Adolf Hitler.
Deutschland, Siegen!
Hammond actually writes for Chords Weekly, a music publication, an unpublished music publication, I should add. He's been looking at an aspect of the music business for me. Incidentally, how do you spell business, Hammond?
B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S.
Hey, what are those last 2 letters again?
S-S.
Cheers. Yeah.
Sound there of Suede, who with Denim are 2 of the new bands trailblazing what the Weeklies are calling the new fabric sound. It's a sound that kills, metaphorically speaking.
I'd say that when he sure was back.